Here he is at the top left of the map. We have the player in the red. We have our Zerg player in this PvZ matchup. It is
Slayers YugiOh.
Apparently doesn't like the card name, but he likes the game. The name.
Yeah, he likes the name, just not a huge fan of the series.
The bottom right, his opponent, starting in the blue colors, the Protoss player. And this right now, it is JYP and YugiOh. Both were able to win the first match. YugiOh defeated his clanmates, he defeated Clyde, and JYP won against Lovesick. And he is playing another Protoss versus Zerg now. It's exactly the same matchup in which he just prevailed. And JYP going for the pylon at the big ramp, trying to wall off, get that early expansion, the standard play on Belcher Beach. And Wolf and I, we talked a little bit about how there is this discussion of players, what you should actually do, how you should wall off on Belcher Beach, if you go for a block at the ramp or if you just make your Nexus part of the wall in order to be a little bit more safe.
You know, it just comes down to, well, like I said before, a lot of people who used to use the Nexus as part of the wall really like to continue to do that, but it makes you really vulnerable to roaches. If you have that high ground advantage at the ramp with your wall, then it makes it a little bit easier. I wanted to mention as well, I kept saying that YugiOh has never made it into Code S. It's actually not accurate. He made it into Code S last season. He's still in Code S technically, unless he doesn't get out of this group. So I do apologize for that. Whoa!
Nice. I like it. And oh, that is something. This is exactly the reason why I love YugiOh's stream, because he's always going for things like this. A lot of players will just build the hatch, cancel it, go for the evolution chamber, block the hatch, but he is one of the players who will let the hatch finish. And I'm really excited how this is going to turn out. YugiOh is just a really, really sneaky player. He loves things like this. Let's see how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, let's see how this plays out indeed. Second cannon going down for JYP. Now remember guys, if he makes the hatchery here, when it dies, broodlings are going to come out. Even if he makes the evolution chamber, of course it's I think a little bit too late to do the Evo chamber. So he's going to have to deal with the Zerglings that possibly come out of this. There is no gas, so he's not going to have any roaches coming out of this hatchery, but when it dies, the broodlings are going to come out. He's going to have Zergling production there. It will finish by the looks of things. The second cannon not going to be up in time to deny it.
I think he might cancel it after all, because the thing is with two cannons you won't be able to get a queen out. If you manage to build the hatch and get a queen, then you can just place down one tumor, and with the tumor you will be able to deny that expansion forever. But that hatch will die, and he's not following it up with an attack. And this is exactly why I think he should have cancelled it. He's getting an expansion now, but he's only blocking it for a little bit further time. The thing is, with the creep spreaded, that expansion will be delayed for
It's going to be delayed for a really long time. And you know, you mentioned the tumor. Well, the problem with the tumor is the cannons are there and they make great vision of it, so you have to be really careful with that.
You just can't build it at the bottom.
Yeah, you got to build it at the bottom. But he's actually going to take a little bit of damage on this cannon, and 6 Zerglings in production. They're going to, of course, be rallied. They're already rallied to come into the main base.
And the cannons are not in range of the Zerglings. This plays out very well for YugiOh. It actually works a lot better than I thought it would. Very well done. I like that play. I love that. He does it on stream quite often. He's doing a first-person stream, so ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check that out if you like his style of play. And he is now annoying his opponent's base, and well, JYP is losing some mining time to this because he has to pull off probes the whole time.
Wow.
And losing probes at that.
He hasn't lost any probes yet, because really nice micro. That was actually some of the best probe versus Zergling micro I have ever seen. The Zealot is now out, and he is going to lose a few probes. No! Micro's the weakened ones back yet again. Really nice micro by JYP against those Zerglings.
And the natural, we still have a little bit of creeps, but no, actually we don't.
I think we're going to see a follow-up with +1 and a gateway timing attack. I do not think we're going to see a Nexus. No, I'm wrong. He does start the Nexus again. Very behind, though, of course. He has +1 started. It's been going for a while.
And one of the things that we definitely have to mention is YugiOh, I said it already, he plays strategies like this very, very often. So he knows exactly how those builds, how those situations are going to turn out, how his timings will be affected. I'm not sure if JYP really knows how that will affect, how the play of his opponent and that delay of the expansion will affect his timings, because that's a strategy that you don't encounter all that often. So
true.
we'll see if JYP is now able to go back into his mindset where he knows exactly when to attack his opponent, or if all his timings just went to hell and he's just playing on instinct now.
Well, JYP hides a Stargate in plain sight against the Overlord, so now the Stargate has been spotted.
And we already have the lair tech for his opponent.
That was cute. He blocked the Zerglings with the gateways.
The saturation is actually really good for YugiOh. He is on 43 against 33 Harvesters. Finally, the Zerglings being killed with the first Stalker on the field.
Yeah, but you know, still, I'm very impressed by the fact that there were just not very many probe kills by those Zerglings. In fact, I don't think they killed even a single one. Of course, he lost probe scouts, so he's lost 2 workers in total, but
he did really well.
Beautiful probe micro. Nobody, I just have not seen probe micro like that ever, Caldor.
Not with 6 Zerglings in the main base. And let's just think about what YugiOh achieved. He blocked the expansion of his opponent, he let the hatch finish. He thought, okay, those 300 minerals are definitely worth it. I have to block the base of my opponent. I'm spreading creep when I let the hatch finish. I can attack a little bit with the Broodlings. And I get the lava to build the 6 Zerglings that I can annoy my opponent with. He got a lot of scouting information from the 6 Zerglings. He occupied JYP in the base, but as you mentioned, he was not able to kill probes.
Well, what's really important right now is that the probe was hidden with this push that's coming out here. Remember, he has +1, he's got +1 armor on the way, but the 4 gateways are done.
He can warp units onto the high ground.
Yeah, very true. The 1 spine coming up here, I think he perhaps should have added spines earlier since he's going for super fast infestors. The pathogen glands are on the way. Nice trap of this Stalker.
And +1 is done for JYP. No armor upgrade for the Zerglings. 2 hitting the Zerglings, but there are so many of them.
It looks like he's going to clean him up with the extra DPS of that Void Rain. Here we go!
Warping up the high ground. He's getting more Zerglings. He doesn't have a Roach Warren. Wolf, I feel he's in trouble now.
Oh, he's definitely in trouble. Remember, the Zerglings have +1. Interestingly, he's going to go for this Infestation Pit. I'm not sure if this is the best choice. Now he does decide to fight the Zerglings head on, which I think was better, but he can warp in more Zealots here. He's got to keep this Void Ray alive if he wants to continue to warp on the high ground. A Spine about to warp in, or finish up.
Pathogen Glance is done. The first 6 Infestors are being built. Even if he kills the Infestation Pit, I feel like he's way too late with us. We have the Spinecrawler taking down additional Zealots, and the Zerglings and Broodlings streaming to finish the job. The Queen's focusing on the Voids. This is not all that successful, Wolf.
Well, you know, more Zealots are warping in here, and the Infestors are going to be the scariest part. He's really committing to this attack. I feel like he should have stopped warping in Zealots here, because now he could trade with the Zerglings okay, but the Infestors, 1 Fungal will completely shut this down. He won't be able to retreat. He'll lose his Voids. 6 Infestors are about to pop out.
Harvester count is 47 to 46. JYP is not lagging behind in economy. 2 base against 2 base. So far, YugiOh didn't get a third.
These Infestors are so scary. The Zealots have no path of retreat right now. And he's going to want to fungal them and just avoid engaging with the Zerglings.
Oh, they cluster, and the fungal hits. The first fungal hits, there will be a second one, there we go.
A little bit surprised he's engaging with these Zerglings. It's not absolutely necessary for him to do that. But he does want to shut that down, and it has been completely thwarted. Now the Void Rays are gone.
In regards to resources lost, we have 2,300 for both of them. Well, roughly the same amount, not exactly. I like, by the way, that YugiOh snuck an Overlord over to the 3rd base of his opponent and spread a creep so that he can't get another base without killing the Overlord first. You can see that on the minimap, I guess. We hadn't had it on screen so far.
And the Infestation Pit has been remade as well for YugiOh. He's got a Baneling Nest as well. I like that combination. This weird commitment of Zealots continues for JYP.
And funny enough, JYP is expecting a Roach follow-up to the strategy that he plays, because he's going for an Immortal already. But
yeah,
YugiOh doesn't bother with a Roach Warren at all.
These Void Rays are going to scout this hatchery, but if he tries to attack it, he's going to be sorry, as there are Infestors here to fungal as well as Queens to defend.
I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't get into position earlier to fungal them.
Very surprised myself as well, and the Pylon does finally fall. A Spire coming down now for YugiOh.
I still think that even despite the fact that he lost a lot of Zealots, and I was a little bit skeptical, JYP was able to kill the timings of his opponent and did more damage than I expected. In regards to the economy, we have 51 to 51 Harvesters, so YugiOh is not really all that far ahead when it comes down to this economy. He has a nice tech though.
Yes, he does. The Void Ray is actually chasing the Infestors in an unusual situation. Now, I like that he started Colossus production as well. Just got that one Immortal by the looks of things just for some extra DPS, but now he's got one Colossus out. The second one is on the way. Range is on the way as well.
Cannot attack this.
Yeah, it's almost suicide. Actually, it is suicide to try to attack up there, but he knows his opponent's on 2 base. He's got that Overlord over there, spreading the creep, blocking the third hatchery. He's got a third hatchery. He's got the Spire up to make Corruptors. He's got still that decent Infestor count. He's got a total of 12. I think that's more than decent, actually.
I feel like YugiOh was a little bit surprised by this Void Ray and Zealot attack by the warp in onto the high ground. He had 600 minerals during that engagement, and he didn't go for the third base. With a little bit of a better macro, he would probably have tried to get another expansion while defending against his opponent's pressure play. So he could have come out of that in a better shape, but he's doing a good job right now. He's on 116 supply against 108.
Excuse me, the Void Rays just got bungled and they'll be taken out by Infested Terrans.
Void Ray pressure is gone. He's going for 5 Corruptors, so he can't deal with the Colossi, and they will pop out just in time, adding Spine Crawlers now. Extended Thermal Lance will be done. JYP is on the move. 120 supply against 120, but JYP with 70 to 57 army supply.
Takes a fungal for the Observers, but loses several Infestors, only actually losing one. A nice micro. The Corruptors, though, getting a little ahead of themselves. Blink is almost done. +2 is almost done as well. The range is done, as you were mentioning. This is pretty scary for our Zerg player YugiOh right now. 5 more Corruptors on the way. It's going to give him a total of 9.
JYP could have dealt more damage, but he saw that... He's borrowed Zerglings. Oh my god, I like that. After basically blocking that push, blocking that expansion for a while with the Overlord and the creep spread. As soon as the Overlord was killed, he sneaks a bunch of Zerglings over and just borrows them. I love that.
Oh, I like this Blink play. He's got to be careful of the Infestors, though. With the Colossi there, it's a little bit less scary, but a nice Corruptor flank here. This is a huge overcommitment, I feel, by JYP. He's losing a lot.
And he's losing Infestors, but can he funnel again? He actually does, but not killing enough of those Stalkers. A good amount is dead, though. At 83 supply against 123, YugiOh is looking better and better in this game. Is getting more Zerglings, but there's still a huge commitment by JYP.
The scary part here is that YugiOh does not have a huge amount of support for those Infestors. He's only got Infestors and Corruptors. No real answer for the rest of the ground army for JYP. He's trying to get as many Zerglings out as he can, but JYP is going to kill his spawning pool here. And that's pretty huge.
He should build that again right away, something that he neglects to do. He's getting more and more links. And the problem with killing the spawning pool is he doesn't have anything else that he can build. He doesn't have a Roach Warren. He can only go for Mutalisks and Infestors now.
Very true. And here come some Zealots to put some pressure on. The Spinecrawler's not in position. Remember, these Zealots have +2. The Zerglings only have +1 weapons. They don't have any Carapace upgrades, so the Zealot's going to clean up these Zerglings very quickly. A really nice trade for JYP.
JYP is playing really cost efficient with the Zealots, but the Stalker play that you already mentioned, it was a little bit... I don't know, he committed too much to that play. He knew that your opponent has a lot of Infestors, and he ran right into these Fungals.
Yeah, it's scary indeed. I would have liked to see him blink maybe 2 or 3 Stalkers up for a second, and then later go back in to commit if the Infestors were not there, but instead he blinked all of them in. And finally, that Zergling burrow is cleaned up. He's going to make a Nexus.
And it's about time. He doesn't have a third at the 20-minute mark. This is tough on the Protoss, on JYP, especially with YugiOh having so many minerals and so much gas.
He's even going for a 3-base Greater Spire here, as a 4th base is hidden at the top right. A ton of changelings dropped here.
That's pretty cool. He's only killing half of them.
Looks like JYP going to try to get into position here. A few spines being placed, but JYP going to ignore those, going straight through this choke point. A very smart place to engage. One Colossus gets trapped, but will that be enough?
Oh, he needs to kill that second Colossus if he wants to deal damage with the Zerglings. It's going to be tough enough as it is with the upgrades of the Protoss player.
And the Stalker's blinking forward here, a decent amount of Zerglings, but really good force fields preventing them. The last Colossus does fall, but now YugiOh doesn't have a lot of support for his Infestors. Looks like these spines may finish in time to hold it off.
I'm actually impressed at how much damage he does with the Fungals. Somebody didn't tell YugiOh that Blizzard actually nerfed the damage on these things. He's funneling over and over again and killing most of his opponent's Stalkers. JYP is in a tough spot. He's at 80 supply against 112, and the Broodlords are morphing now. So many Infestors, 6 of them, and he lost a few in the last engagement. I feel like he had about 8 to 10.
And guess what, Keldor? The Nexus has just now started. Despite the fact he cleaned up those Zerglings a long time ago, he made a lot of units. The Nexus just now started, and it's also going to be cancelled.
He has to cancel it. He definitely has to cancel it. YugiOh, such a smart decision by YugiOh to force a Nexus cancel. We have the Temple Archive coming up, but more drones are now being built. The drone count right now is 69 to 49. YugiOh started to concentrate a little bit more on his economy, and JYP, I have to say, I didn't expect him to struggle that hard in this matchup.
Well, especially considering in the mid game, he looked so dominant. He had a strong Blink Stalker force, he even had those Colossi out. Going for the main base was a huge mistake. I think he could have just gone for the right side. There's so many good places for Colossi to engage on the right side. He really committed to that attack. Lost so many Stalkers, and he's in a tough spot now. YugiOh, how many Broodlords in total? Looks like 5. Made 5 Broodlords, 6 Infestors. It's so hard to try to commit to Blink under Broodlords when there's so many Zerglings out that are well upgraded and Infestors underneath the Broodlords. He does have Templar out on the map as well, but a few of those almost being targeted here. That was a close call.
I have to say that I kind of like that YugiOh is neglecting armor upgrades now. After he realized, okay, my opponent already has, I think it's +2 for JYP, yeah, +2. I won't be able to catch up with his armor upgrades, so the Zealots will kill my Zerglings in 2 heads anyways. Let's focus a little bit more on the attack so that I can at least deal more damage.
Yeah, and you know, right now Storm is being researched for JYP. He just got Hallucination as well really late, so I'm curious to see what his plan is with the Hallucination. He may try to hallucinate some Void Rays to absorb Corruptor damage or something like that. But, you know, it's not like he has any Void Rays out on the map or any Colossi either, so I'm not sure what his plan is with the Hallucinations. He may just try to scare his opponent into thinking he has Void Rays, bait out some Fungals. It's hard to say what his plan is going to be with that Hallucination, but he does have 6 Sentries, all of them with full energy right now.
But they won't be able to do anything at all except Hallucinations because we have Ultralisks on the way, so Force Fields will be useless.
Yeah, JYP, he's got to have his back against the wall here pretty soon as YugiOh getting every tech in the book. A little bit of harassment up here at the top right, going to kill a decent amount of drones, but actually the Zerglings will delay this until the Ultras can go back, but the Ultras are spotted. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, he is not afraid of showing his hand.
No adrenal glands, actually, for the Zerglings. That's another thing I would like to see from YugiOh. But like you were saying, he's not really focusing on the Zerglings, knowing that he's so behind in upgrades for the Carapace that the Zealots are going to be so cost-efficient against them, even if they do have that adrenal gland upgrade.
The Ultralisk armor upgrade is done, and very nice to go for the Warp Prism with the High Templars. Will it be enough, though? He's losing one of them, one Storm. Getting a little bit of damage.
Yeah, the Broodlings. Yeah, the Broodlings just chasing this army away, and 172 supply to 122, as you were going to say. I think that right now JYP is just, he's got his back against the wall. He can't really engage very well.
At the top right, oh, we have another Scout with a Phoenix. I thought for a second we had a Warp Prism for a DT drop, but no. Sorry, not a DT drop, High Templar drop with a Storm. And there is YugiOh trying to get offensive. 170 supply against 130. Going for Void Rays again to counter his opponent's Ultralisks and Broodlords.
Yeah, very smart move. But there are a decent amount of Corruptors out right now as well. Remember, he does have Hallucination.
He needs to be careful with the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism is dying. Oh.
And no Storms on those. Tried to feedback. Yeah.
Oh, actually, he's now morphing all his Corruptors. He won't have anything to deal with the Void Ray.
Very true. But this army may be taken out beforehand. Some units being hallucinated. A Phoenix and some Colossi actually hallucinated here. Stalkers coming around the other side. Void Ray is starting to do some damage, and there are some Templar here, but I don't know if this is going to be enough, Keldor.
I don't think so. JYP is losing units by the second. He's down to 75 supply against 160, and those Hallucinations don't deal damage.
Yeah, the Colossus hallucinations and the Phoenix hallucinations, not able to do a whole lot, but he does actually block the Ultralisk from attacking. That's pretty interesting. That
one Immortal is killing another Ultralisk, but at the right side we have more Stalkers coming in immediately. The Broodlings are there to welcome them, surrounding and taking them down. The GG by JYP. YugiOh, with a very unusual start into this game, is able to take the map wins the second match in this up-down.
Yeah, and JYP going now 1-1. You know, the difference between that game and the game we saw yesterday with Squirtle and Cezanne was that his opponent was maxed out with the wrong composition. In this game, I really feel that YugiOh had a catch-all composition. He had a decent amount of Corruptors just in case of anything else until the very end where he morphed them all into Broods, but he had scouted, okay, well, I can just do this right now. But he had a decent amount of Zerglings, Infestors, but also Ultralisks and Broodlords. So no matter what his opponent had, he just had something to deal with it. He had the decent amount of Ultras to tank for the Broodlords. You can't blink under Broodlords when they're Ultralisks there, and Infestors, it just is not something you want to do. So even though his army was kind of small and very specific, he had like very niche units in there, he used them very well, and he slowly but surely was able to push JYP back there. I really feel, and I think you agree with me as well, that over-commitment with the blink into the main was really where things went wrong for JYP.
Yeah, he went right into those fungals, and I have to say that YugiOh even didn't play that all too well in this situation because he lost the pool. He didn't build a second one before that. He realized the pool would die, so he couldn't build additional Zerglings. I feel he could have killed all of those Stalkers. JYP actually was lucky. He only lost half his army in this engagement.
Definitely so, and I really think in some situations with the Blink Stalkers, if you blink a few in and check first, it's much smarter. Against Zerg, unless you know there's nothing there, just a tip, don't blink forward because there could be a ton of roaches, there could be Zerglings over there, there could be a fungal, there could be an Ultralist, you don't know. You gotta be careful about that. We're gonna have our first ZVZ of the night. It's gonna be July Zerg versus Lovesick. The map is gonna be dual site.
Zerg versus Zerg with July winning the first game against Hero, and now he's up against Lovesick, who lost the first match already. Huge glasses for Lovesick.
Yeah, those are quite large.
They're really popular in Korea, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I've considered getting some myself, actually.
July with a pink keyboard.
Well, you never know with July. Here we go. Let's find out what July will do against Lovesick in this ZVZ at the GSL Up and Downs with Wolf and Kaldor. You need to go this way.